What's going on, everyone? So the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight has officially ended. Jake Paul was the winner. This thing was a disaster to start with. All the buffering, you would think Netflix having the time that it had to put this together, the servers and everything would have been ready to go and in proper working order to handle the workload that you were going to have for a fight like this. Whether you're interested in Jake Paul and this boxing fiasco, and it's a gimmick. It's a gimmick, right? Jake Paul, he's not fighting real boxers. He's fighting 60-year-old men. There's a difference, right? But still, you knew that there was going to be people that are at least curious, right? Like myself. I wasn't like, yes, Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, but I was like, hey, let's see how it goes, right? Everyone has a Netflix account. You might as well just watch it, check it out, see what happens. You never know. Maybe Mike Tyson gives him the 1-2 and something crazy happens. Or, I don't know why, real quick, and then we'll get into the fight. I don't know why Jake Paul would have taken this fight. Right? I get it's Mike Tyson, and I get the pay, the bag, and all that, which gets you bag, right? However you feel about Jake Paul, however you feel about, his fighting career, non-fighting career, or whatever, right? The dude's making an insane amount of money, more money than most of us will ever see in a lifetime, multiple lifetimes, and he's doing it on the back of something that he loves and a hobby he created. So, you got to at least tip your cap to him in that regard. But I don't know why he would have taken this, because, Mike Tyson looked old. Right? It went exactly how you thought it would. Mike Tyson is clearly a 60-year-old man, right? He's 58, right? And Jake Paul, either two things happen. Either A, he beats Mike Tyson like he did, and everyone's just going to go, he fought a 60-year-old man, right? Or B, Mike Tyson ends up knocking him out, and it's you just got knocked out by a 60-year-old man. It was a lose-lose for Jake Paul. I don't know why he would agree to this fight, but nonetheless, it went exactly how you went. Jake Paul dominated and controlled the fight. Look, for being honest, Jake Paul probably could have ended that fight in the second round if he wanted to, right? Obviously, it's Mike Tyson, so I'm sure part of the strategy was just to kind of keep your distance. Don't close the gap. Don't let Mike close the gap, right? You don't want to end up just getting caught and now you're sleeping. But that length and that reach was a huge factor, because Jake Paul was able to just kind of keep him at a distance, kind of keep hammering away, getting the punches involved. And, you just saw what the result was going to be, right? But I felt like this was a fight where Jake Paul could easily, if he wanted to, just go in and really I thought he was going to in those later rounds, right? Now, again, there is always the threat of Mike where, if you're too aggressive, right, and Mike catches you with one, call it a night. But I also think that it would have been, I think he would have been able to do it. I don't think, give Mike credit. Mike was eating some punches, man. For 58 years old, he was eating some hits, man. He was taking some good ones. Jake was boxing out there. He's got some skills. He's not to the level in which, these greats are, right? He talks about Canelo. Canelo probably sleep him in 30 seconds into the fight. But he was boxing. He has enough skill to beat a 58-year-old Mike Tyson, beat all these YouTubers and non-boxers and athletes and stuff, like MMA fighters and stuff like that. But it's at what point does the gimmick wear off is kind of my thoughts, right? Mike Tyson was this is the thing, right? Logan Paul fought Mayweather. It's yeah, you could, if you're Jake, you could fight Mayweather, sure, right? But at what point do you make the leap into actual boxers? And we saw what happened when he fought an amateur, not even a great boxer, and Tommy Fury, and we saw what that result was. So, how long can the charade keep going? Is my point. How long before it's okay, the jig is up, right? Time to call it a career. How long is he gonna keep being able to get these bags? But that's what this was. This was a gimmick. It was great to see Mike Tyson out there, right? This was, if anything, this was that historic, memorable moment, right? Where Mike Tyson, he lasted 8 rounds, right? Like this was that like, hey, like you took some punches on the chin and you took some real punches on the chin, but beyond taking the punches on the chin, you were able to kind of, stick it out for the 8 rounds. Even though, again, I do think Jake Paul probably could have ended it a lot sooner because he just, he didn't look good. Like he looked like, like Mike Tyson at 58 years old, right? He looked like a guy that, yes, he still is terrifying. Somebody like me, somebody like you, we get in the ring with Mike Tyson, we're probably taking a little nap, right? But Jake Paul is at least big enough, strong enough, good enough of a boxer to where he's not, like, you knew what the result was going to be, right? Like, I saw a lot of people that just like, oh, yeah, Mike Tyson, Drake, who was it? Drake, like, put, I think, like 300,000 or whatever on Mike Tyson. It's like, come on, like, yeah, you just, like, you could have shared that with us. Like, we all knew how this was going. Unless Mike Tyson just caught him, right? Just found a way to catch him, which probably wasn't going to happen. I mean, even in, like, the sparring videos, right? Like, when before this fight, it was yesterday or the day before, right? Where Mike's in the ring, he's doing, like, he was moving slow, right? Like, yeah, he still has that power, man. He's still, like, it's that bag, and it's, like, rough, but you knew Jake was never going to let him close the gap. You knew that Jake was always going to keep him at a distance and use that reach. You knew what the plan was going into this fight. You knew what the result was going to be. You knew that Jake Paul only had to get, a handful of hits to really win this. And because Mike Tyson, he's just going to kind of float out there, right? And kind of wait for that moment. Right? And then there's the whole, mouthpiece gate that everyone's talking about where he keeps biting his glove stuff. It's a kind of a nervous twitch or something that he's done before in the past, but he had mouthpiece issues and stuff like that. I mean, look, that's not like the difference in the fight. It's like, oh, if Mike Tyson wasn't having to adjust his mouthpiece, he would have won. Nah, I don't think it was anything like that, but it was something very noticeable that he had to keep like fixing his mouthpiece, kept biting on his glove, kind of just look. Mike Tyson he wanted to feel alive again for a moment, and he got that. Right? He got to have that moment again. He got to feel that youth of being out in a boxing ring for one last time. And it was great. It was great to see, as somebody old enough to have experienced some of the crazier Mike Tyson days, and somebody that, grew up with Mike and stuff, and just to see him in that ring one more time. Even though, the end result was what we all kind of expected, I still appreciate it. I still enjoyed the moment. It's kind of, there's not really much to take away, right? Like, it's not, like, this wasn't a fight where you're like, man, Jake, he's got, like, no, it's, you fought a 50-year-old man. Like, this is the problem. This is why people don't take it serious. Again, get your bag, get your money. I would, man, you pay me, what was the rumored bag? Jake was getting, like, 20 million or something like that. Man, I get knocked out by Mike Tyson for 20 million, right? Like, I'll take my chances either. I'll just run around for, 8 or 16 minutes or whatever, right? Like, for 20 million. But no, there's not really much to take either way, right? Like, we didn't learn anything about Mike Tyson. Oh, man, like, we took that he could still take a punch. We learned that, like, he's 58 years old, right? We didn't learn anything from Jake Paul where it's like, oh, man, Jake, like, he really displayed some boxing pedigree out there. He really showed that he's the truth. He's the real one. Like, bring on Canelo or whoever, right? Like, you literally got nothing, right? If it was, one of those pay-per-views, we all probably would have been like, well, that was a waste of money. In fact, it was Netflix. We all got a Netflix account. It was cool. Like I said, it was nice to just see it. Sure. So, be somebody that's like, oh, hey, give me something to talk about, make a video on. But again, nothing much to write home about. This was just, in my opinion, it was a disaster start to finish. But, good on Mike. Good on Mike to get in there. It was great to see, him to kind of live that one more time. And, make it the 8 rounds. You got to credit Jake Paul because, like I said, I think Jake Paul could have finished that really quickly. I think Jake Paul could have made that a rather quick sort of match, and he kind of just did enough to keep Mike in it, to kind of keep people enjoying it for the 8 rounds. So anyway, As always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? What did you make of this fight? Did you make anything of it where you're kind of like, it was rough? What did you think of Netflix and the buffering issues and all that? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.